Welcome to Mind Snap Social. I am your host, Dorothy W. Parker.
I am here as your host and guide on this journey to explore the depths of our minds and the forces that shape our lives. Here at MindShift Mastery, we unlock untapped potential and provoke thoughtful discussions. Let's start this journey together. What is my life motto? My life motto is when you are afraid to challenge long-held beliefs, you give fear overwhelming power. I chose it as my life motto because I am a master at fear. I know that's not something that many people will claim, but I am a master at fear. So what is our learning goals for this podcast? What are mind shifts? Recognizing and enhancing the mind shift experience. Developing a mind shift awareness. Blockages to mind shifts. Why fear is important. What are mind shifts? I'm sure you're wondering. You probably have an idea of what you think they are. When I first heard the word, I had an idea of what I thought it was. But once I started studying and really got deep into understanding mind shifts and experiencing them, it took on a whole new meaning for me. Mind shifts are special and rare moments in our lives where we experience a shift in consciousness, often swiftly and unexpectedly. These moments can happen during intense focus. The content of your focus does not matter unless you practice awareness and intentions. Let's talk about some examples of mind shifts. I recall a discussion about shadows that was so empowering, I immediately wrote it down. Take note of that. I wrote it down as soon as I recognized it. I was in the right place. I was in the right mind space. And when this shift happened, I was ready for it. Unexpectedly, but when it happened, I knew what it was. And I wrote it down. It was a moment of revelation that shifted my consciousness, urging me to embrace the shift and integrate shadow work into my life. Capturing moments of mind shifts involves being aware of moments of inspiration and turning them into tools for growth, personal growth, not someone else's growth, your personal growth. The benefits of mastering mind shifts. Now, this is where we're about to really get deep into this discussion. And I just ask for your attention for about 30-40 minutes for this discussion. Because what I'm about to share with you, I'm expecting it to shift your mind and your consciousness, your awareness and your attention. What are the benefits of mastering mind shifts? Because the name of this podcast is Mind Shift Mastery, not just mind shifts, but mind shift mastery. When we harness these shifts properly, they enhance the quality of our lives and the experiences we go through. This is how we master mind shifts. It's not just about acknowledging these shifts, but actively engaging with them to ensure they have a lasting impact. Why do we have mind shifts and where do they come from? Mind shifts are boundless potential. They come from a place of unlimited potential. Each of us has boundless potential within ourselves. We're all connected in some way or another to the universe, the cosmos, consciousness, one mind, God, each other, ancestors. Whatever you want to label our universal connection, our human connection, we all have the opportunity for boundless potential. Yet often it remains untapped due to blockages that cause inertia, making us feel stagnant. How do you overcome blockages? My experience and understanding blockages in my own life is why I published How to Get Unstuck Spiritually. That book is a transformation testimony of my life. It is my experience, my darkest moments, my most unhealthy moments, my most unconscious moments, some of the darkest moments of my life happened, which caused me to write How to Get Spiritually Unstuck. When I wrote that book, it was because I had a mind shift. And that mind shift was powerful. It was not just, oh, I got to get unstuck. Oh, I got to find a way to change my mind. I need to raise my consciousness. That's not what happened. I literally had a mind shift. My focus was to share everything, every identifying mark in my life where I felt blockages. I called it being stuck, and how I learned to overcome those blockages. All of that is in the book. Now, how do we master shifts, mind shifts, in 4 practical steps? There's plenty of steps, but I'm only going to share 4 because I'm hoping that in the process of you hearing this podcast, that you are experiencing a mind shift, whether it's mild, medium, or powerful. That you are experiencing a mind shift. And once you experience a mind shift, the steps that you're going to take to master that mind shift may not be the same steps that I took. Because each shift comes with its own journey. It comes with its own space of awareness. It comes with its own boundless potential. And so your mind shift may not be the same as my mind shift. So what are 4 practical steps that we can look at and to be able to talk about mastering mind shifts? The first step that I want to talk to you about is curiosity. Encourage a mindset of curiosity in everyday interactions, which will prime your mind for unexpected shifts. Everyday interaction, all of your experiences, everything that you deal with on a daily basis, every space that you're in, you should always be open to curiosity. I know we all say curiosity killed the cat. Yeah, but that because the cat, once he became curious, he went into a space that he should not have been in. That's my assumption. That may not be everybody's assumption about why the cat got killed and why curiosity killed the cat. But that's my perspective. But what I want you to understand about curiosity is you have to remain open and available. You cannot be closed up, bound up, tied up, your mind cluttered. You have to be curious, remain innocent, remain open to experiences if you want to experience a mind shift. And by doing that, curiosity is a priming point for these unexpected shifts. Now, what I'm telling you in these 4 steps, these are not steps to cause mind shifts. These are ways in which you can prepare for a mind shift and remain in a position to be open for when it happens. Embrace vulnerability. Now, it's easy to remain curious, But vulnerability, being open often requires vulnerability, allowing oneself to be impacted by new ideas and experiences without immediate judgment. Now, this is the true definition of vulnerability. Vulnerability means that I am in a position and I am in a space where there's no judgment, where I am not judging anything. I am just occupying this space for whatever life has to bring to me. The curiosity is there. The openness is there, which is setting me up for a mind shift. So just remember that you cannot be in a place of judgment if you are going to be vulnerable. And that's just not for a mind shift experience. That's in anything in your life. If you want a transformation, you have to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is not anything to be ashamed of, or it doesn't make you feel small or powerless. Being powerless is not vulnerability. You can be vulnerable and still have your power. A safe learning environment. Foster environments where it's safe to explore and question, which facilitates openness. Now you got curiosity, vulnerability, and the learning environment. The learning environment is the environment in which you feel open. It has nothing to do with a space or a place. It has to do with you being open to learning, open to understanding, open to new ideas, open to new places in your consciousness, in your mind. This is going to get good in a minute. Space for processing. Give yourself time to understand and integrate new insights, which deepens your transformation. Curiosity, vulnerability, openness, and a safe space for processing. Now, what is processing? Processing means that when you experience a mind shift, it does not matter, again, where you are. What matters is where you are in space and time consciously. When you are in a space for processing, in a space where you are open, curious, and you are in a learning mode, you're non-judgmental, you are in a prime moment for a mind shift. And I'm going to tell you, this mind shift that you're going to experience, it's not about just all the good things that we experience when we talk about having shifts in consciousness. It's just not about raising your awareness or raising your consciousness. Because some mind shifts may not always be positive, meaning that they may not feel positive to you because they're going to cause you to change. They're going to cause you to make some changes in your life that you may feel uncomfortable with. This is why it's necessary to be vulnerable, open to vulnerability, open to learning, open to curiosity. Having the ability to experience a mind shift means having a non-judgmental mindset. So what is learning from personal experiences? What did I learn from my personal experience? I'm about to share with you one moment when I had a mind shift that has actually changed my life. And it's only been probably about, I would say about 2-3 weeks. But this mind shift was so powerful that it caused me to actually take the time to sit with it, to experience it, to feel it, to shift, to allow it to continue to shift my consciousness. So I gave space to it. And so let me share with you, my experience was with a mind shift change. My experience with mind shift has been deeply transformative. And the moment that I clearly experienced this mind shift was during an expanded consciousness group session with Coach Malachi Gross. Hey, Malachi, to the expanded consciousness family. And so as a psychology graduate, I understood what he was talking about. But this moment was transformative for me. It wasn't just an aha moment. You know, we are so programmed to having experiences that make us feel good. I call Oprah the aha moment queen. Well, I want to be the mind shift master queen, because aha moments are short bursts of excitement. It's like having a burst of energy. But mind shift moments, you're going to find out that they're very intense. So the experience that I had was when Coach Malachi was talking about shadows. Y'all remember the shadows, right? And if you have had any kind of experience with psychology, you know who Carl Jung is. He is the theorist of shadows in psychology. And so I had more than an aha moment. Let me just share with you what an aha moment is briefly. An aha moment is one of those moments where something hits you and you're like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Well, in this process that I'm sharing with you about mind shifts, we're reframing aha moments to mind shifts, because these are, I will call these the grandparents, the ancestors of aha moments. While Oprah refers to aha moments, I see them as potential mind shifts. We don't get rid of the aha moments, but what we do is we start to now pay attention to them. The difference lies in our response, whether we let them pass or engage deeply with them to transform our lives. Now let's see how we can set the stage for a mind shift. Now, a lot of times mind shifts happen in some of the strangest moments in our lives. Being open to unexpected insights and shifts in consciousness, experiencing a change in energy and emotions. For many of us, these moments happen so fast, we have become accustomed to feeling them and letting them go. But I'm going to encourage you to give space to these mind shifts, because in this space is where you're going to experience a shift in your energy, a shift in your emotions, a shift in your feelings, a shift in your attention. There's 5 steps you can take when you have one of these moments. Be aware of how insights and shifts in consciousness feel. How many times have you been told to get out of your feelings? I've been told that many times in my life, to get out of your feelings. I'm an Aquarius. I don't get in my feelings very often. But these past 10 years or so, I'm going to tell you, I've been the most emotional, feely Aquarius that I've encountered. I can cry at the drop of a hat. Everything seems to be, I've seen to be sensitive emotionally to everything. But this has been ever since I had this mind shift. The mind shift that not the recent one, but the one that I had that caused me to write How to Get Spiritually Unstuck, which happened around 2010, 2012. And prior to that, I can remember many, many, many mind shifts where I've had I felt out of body experiences. I've experienced transformations, experiences that have allowed and caused me to feel out of place. When I say out of place, I mean out of this place. I felt like I was in other dimensions. So also in the process of being aware and having a consciousness, shift in your consciousness, you have to give away to your feelings. You have to feel the moment. Allow the moment to be as powerful and as intense as you can manage to handle. Once you have this feeling, this awareness, this shift in your consciousness, take the time to write it down. Write down what you are feeling in the moment. What are you experiencing? What is happening to you? Why do you believe this moment is a mind shift? What is the setting? And what did you hear or sense in the moment? The setting and what you hear, what you sense is important. All of these 5 steps that I'm telling you about, I'm going to tell you why they're important. Because you're going to experience them over and over again, and you need to master them. By mastering them, you master mind shift moments. When the mind shift happens to you, you understand immediately what you need to do to have that mind shift impact your life and for you to master it. What is the setting? What is the what did you hear or sense in the moment? And then apply the insight to your life. So let me tell you something. I wonder how many of you out there have had aha moments. Probably all. I can have 10, 20 aha moments in a day. It doesn't matter. They just happen because we just love things that make us feel good. We love things that make us feel, give us these quick energy shots. But when in these mind shift moments, you have to apply the insight that you receive. You cannot just let them go. It is not advisable for you to let them go. Because these these mind shift moments happen, and they will continue to happen as you master them, as you become aware of them, as you apply them to your life. Otherwise, when you receive these aha moments, they can actually turn into shadows. And we're going to talk about that next week. So in the process of taking these steps in mind and allowing mind shifts to happen. Now let's take a moment and talk about when mind shifts can happen. These moments are different for all of us. The moment that you're going to experience this, no one can tell you when it's going to happen. We can share with you what we have experienced. I can share with you what I have learned and how I've been able to find myself, or how I've been able to experience more and more of these mind shifts. It's not to say that what I'm experiencing, and because I have mastered the mind shifts, that's why they're happening. They're happening because I remain open to them. They impact my life because I master them. There's a difference. So mind shifts are different for everybody, and I'm going to show you. It depends on 2 things: your attention and intentions for the moment that you're in. Now, I want to make this practical, because what I don't want you to do is to think that mind shifts are about something that's esoteric, something that's spiritual, something that's mystical or out of this world. These should be happening in every day in your life. They should be happening. It depends on your attention and intentions for the moment that you're in. A mechanic can be focused on fixing a vehicle and experience a mind shift. You know how? Because in the moment that he's working on that vehicle, he's focused. He's in a space where he's giving attention to what he's doing. And that is the moment that he can get a shift in his consciousness about how to fix that car or how to fix another car. Or maybe he had something on his mind that he was trying to figure out. And because he was so attentive to what he was doing in the moment, he was open for a mind shift. A lawyer can be arguing a case in a courtroom and experience a mind shift. Yes, y'all remember Perry Mason and his secretary Della? I think her name was Della. That's my sister's name. Perry Mason used to have these moments all the time, although we know that he was working off of scripts, but they were good scripts. They were written from a place probably where the writers were not too aware of how they were presenting his ability to master cases in the courtroom. But he was able to do it because he was having moments where there were mind shifts. And you could tell because he would be questioning a witness and something will trigger and he'll look back at Della and they were so connected that she would immediately go out and act on that. That is what you have to do when you have a mind shift moment. You have to act on it. You cannot just allow yourself to just have a feeling about it. All of these things are very important. These steps are very important. It's not about mystical or spiritual experiences. They are definitely a part of it. But mind shifts happen because they are a part of the law of human nature. It's about the moment where you are least vulnerable, where it's moments where you are open, not least vulnerable, but where you are vulnerable. Where you're open, aware, and even unaware in some cases. Mind shifts don't happen because you focus on them. Because you don't know what they are until they happen to you. Mind shifts versus aha moments. Now, this is going to be a part of the way that I experience a lot of things in my life, especially moments of transformation. I love ideas. I love writing. I love studying. I love research. I love expanding my mind with knowledge, with research. And I don't consider myself to be a master at anything. I consider myself to be a master at learning. Not a master at what I've learned, but just learning, because I'm constantly in a mode and in a position to learn something. For me, mind shifts feel like you've been kissed intimately by awareness. Did you hear what I said? Mind shifts give you the feeling that you have been kissed by awareness. It feels intimate. It feels intrusive. Mind shifts make you feel vulnerable because of how impacting they are to your life. They transform you. They go and they are able to touch places in your life where you are vulnerable, where you make these moments in your life least accessible. They're not always moments where you feel comfortable sharing with everybody. But when you get an aha moment, it's so intrusive that it feels intimate. Your consciousness feels expanded. You feel like you are in a moment where you can almost understand everything that is happening to you. You sense an ability to even make that moment practical. You know what you need to do to actually act on that moment. You know, I need to do something. I just got this mind shift and I need to do something. There is something that I need to do to make this thing more practical in my life. But the thing that I'm talking about when I say you need to do something, because the mind shift moment actually gives you what it is you need to do. It's a deeper sense of connection. In the moment with an idea or a thought, you feel connected to it. This is how you know what to do, because there's a connection. It's intimate, it's expanding, and it's connecting to you in a way that most things don't connect to you. I know that sounds weird, but you have to be able to understand that mind shifts are intrusive. That's not a bad thing. That can be a good thing. It gives you an expansion that transcends the personal and touches the universal. Now, somebody's going to say, you just told us that this ain't got nothing to do with being spiritual or mystical or esoterical or whatever the case may be. It doesn't. Because I don't consider the universe or the cosmos, I don't consider that under those classifications. So when you experience a mind shift, it's an expansion that transcends the personal and touches on the universal. In other words, you feel so transformed by this shift in your consciousness that you feel like you have been elevated into another place. You can't make up these moments. They are too pure and impacting. So mind shifts happen to us all the time. They happen to us walking down the street. You could be changing your baby's diaper and experience a mind shift. You could be at work. We've got to learn to take moments where we're focused, aware, open, vulnerable, curious, in a mindset to learn, and in a safe space to experience the mind shift. Right? So now let me tell you a difference between an aha moment and a mind shift moment. An aha moment, like I said, is a moment that can be very quick. An aha moment makes you feel, gives you that initial high, and then all of a sudden it's gone. A mind shift moment, by way of example, let me tell you, when I had my mind shift moment, it took me 10 years to process it. It took me 10 years to practice it. It took me 10 years to feel the transformation of that moment. It took 10 years for my life to change, because it took more of my life to get to who I was before I had this shift. So mind shift moments are transforming, but they don't happen overnight. By you paying attention to how they feel, paying attention to the moment, paying attention to how it transforms your mind. When you do that, you give space to the mind shift to continue the transformation that it came to produce in your life. So you can't have a mind shift moment and just let it go away, because it came to change you. It manifested in your life to change you. It manifested in your life to give you tools and access to boundless potential. Potential in yourself that you did not know you had. That mind shift moment actually came to tell you that there is something more for your life. And here's the tools to access it. So, mind shift moments are lifetime moments. They are not something that happens in a short period of time. They can take a while. Not to make the transformation in you, but for you to master that particular transformation. Because we can have transformations just like we have aha moments. But if we don't learn to pay attention to them and apply them and to practice them, even transformations can be reversed. So when we can harness these powerful moments of mind shifts effectively, they can indeed transform fleeting experience into lifetime events that shape our paths and enrich our lives. Mind shifts connect you, as I stated, to boundless potential. The focus on openness and receptivity to these moments can help individuals not just experience the shifts, but also deeply integrate them, creating lasting moments. So how do we harness the mind shifts? There's 2 points that you have to focus on: openness and focus. The most effective tool that I found for harnessing a mind shift moment is openness. Being open to everything that is happening to you during the shift. Allowing the shift to complete the process. Not the transformation, the process of shifting your consciousness. Because once your consciousness shifts, it's going to put you on the road to transformation. It's going to put you on a journey for transformation. Remember, life is not a home. Life is a journey. It's a constant journey. It's constant movement. Constantly adapting to changes, new ways of living, new ways of experiencing life. And so a mind shift moment is a moment where you need to be open when you sense and experience it, because you need to have the full experience of the mind shift. The transformation happens after the mind shift. You also have to be focused. Focus is important because it removes mind clutters and distractions. This I'm talking about while you're having the mind shift. While you're having the mind shift, remember I told you earlier, when you're experiencing a mind shift, feel the moment. Experience everything that is happening in that moment. It's almost like you want to be frozen in time with the mind shift. And by being open and focused, you allow the mind shift to produce in you the seed for transformation. You cannot be transformed until you have the seed for transformation has been given to you, which means that once you receive that seed, transformation will happen if you will apply the shift. Allow the shift to take place. Allow the shift to complete the process. Now let me tell you about some obstructions to mind shift. And this is something that I have experienced in my life. And I can tell you, like I said in the beginning of this, that my motto in life is that when we refuse to let go of, or when we refuse to challenge long-held beliefs, we give fear overwhelming power. A mind shift moment can be blocked by fear, because we can give fear overwhelming power in our lives at the moment that we experience a mind shift. I felt myself in moments where my mind was shifting, my consciousness was shifting, and I just shook my head. Some of it I was like, no, this can't be happening. This can't be what I'm hearing. This can't be what I'm sensing. This can't be what I'm experiencing. And I've shaken it off. But then as I've gotten older and as I've been more open, more vulnerable, I have found that these mind shifts happen a lot to me. They happen often. So when I designed this podcast, I wanted to allow myself to share mind shift moments. I wanted to try to impart to you an experience of how to have these mind shifts. And it's not a lot of people go after knowledge. They go after, even wisdom. They go after acquiring and mastering things. But the mind shifts, mastering mind shifts, is not about causing them. It's about taking advantage of why they appeared and came to you in the first place. The reason that you experience a mind shift is because there was a need for a transformation in that area in your life. There was a need to raise your consciousness. There was a need to give you the taste or give you the experience of being a boundless potential that is in you. So when you have a mind shift moment, it's going to expand you. It's going to cause you to grow. It's going to cause you to have moments where you feel like you are just in another place, where you have been kissed intimately by an expanded thought. Mind shift moments can be intrusive. They can be aggressive, powerful. They can go from mild intensity to strong intensity. In psychology, we talk about the body-mind problem, where we don't know if the mind is controlling the body or the body is controlling the mind. But it doesn't matter, because you have to deal with both of them, and you have both of them. Both of them are tools. Both of them make you who you are. And so mind shifts, they happen in your mind, but you can experience them in your body, in your energy levels and how you feel, in your awareness, through your visions. You can look around and say, what is happening to me in this moment? What am I experiencing in this moment? Why is this moment so powerful? Why do I feel such intense energy? Because you're having a mind shift moment. And that is a moment you need to pay attention to. I believe we're moving into the age of Aquarius. Now, one of the things I know is that these ages, these horoscopes and these ages, the astrological ages that we talk about, science does not agree with them. Not even astrophysicists agree, because there's so many intricate things that has to happen when the earth is moving through these cycles, these cosmic cycles, these astrological cycles. But because we have all consciously accepted them, we've created a reality around them. But what I do want to say is that we do move through ages. And right now, we have called this new age the Aquarian age. We just came out of Pisces. Every spiritual book, every spiritual process that we have experienced has some form or some information that taps into these ages. In Christianity, they call it the end of the world. And some people are thinking this is a literal end of the world. But no, it means the end of the age. But in this age of Aquarius, I think we need to be more open Because we go through cycles of enlightenment. We go through cycles of enlightenment as a species. And in these moments of enlightenment, a lot of things happen. We got a lot of things during the enlightenment. We got philosophy, psychology. We got a lot of our academic knowledge through the age of enlightenment. We had a lot of people die because they were getting so many ideas that was controversial, that went against the established norm, especially for Catholicism. I mean, you know how many people they took out because they had ideas that were contrary to the established religion at the time. So aha moments can be obstructed by fear. They can be obstructed when we experience strain in our lives. Fear is a master at caging us into mindsets that keep us stuck and unconscious of moments that can be life-changing for us. Think of a moment where you felt intense fear. That moment was a moment that was supposed to be a moment of transformation for you. But because you have more experience with fear and less experience with mind-shifting moments, fear became overwhelming. Fear causes us to feel inadequate in vulnerable moments. Remember, in order to have a mind shift, you have to remain vulnerable. But fear causes us to feel inadequate. It causes us to feel or to believe that we need to not be vulnerable. You can be in a room with hundreds of people and still feel closed off. Fear will cause you to feel closed off. Fear will cause you to feel isolated in your consciousness and your spirit. This is the type of moment that enhances fear, constantly feeding you irrational thoughts that are opposite of mind shifts. Instead, they cause anxiety. When you experience a mind shift moment, remember I told you it's intimate. It feels like you've been kissed by an idea, like you've been kissed by a moment. It's so powerful that you feel this expansion in yourself. You feel empowered to get through something that you might have felt stuck in. You feel powerful. You've let go of judgment and you feel the power to make change. You feel the power of transformation. It's almost like you feel yourself being shifted out of whatever moment you were in that had you stuck, that had you feeling like, I can't get past this. But when you get a mind shift, it's almost like an earthquake. I'll call it a body quake, a mind quake. That's why we call it a mind shift. Because it's shifting your insides, it's shifting your consciousness, it's shifting the way you think, it's shifting the ideas that you may have in the moment. It's trying to impart something into you that will help you transform and transition your life. So you have to learn to give into mind shifts. You cannot resist them. You cannot give excuses as to why you did not give in to the moment. Now, when I got this mind shift during our expanded consciousness class, I had to get a pen and paper immediately. Well, actually, I took my phone, opened up my notes. I got well over 2,000 notes in my note app on my phone. And I opened that app up and I just started writing because I did not want to lose that moment. I did not want to, I wanted to honor that moment. I wanted to give that moment the mind shifted time to actually complete its process in me. And so I wrote it down. I felt it. I allowed it to shift me. And I didn't miss anything in the session because the session also was very, very, what is the word? It supported as the session was going on, everything that was being said was actually supporting the mind shift that I was having. The mind shift was so powerful that I could not let it go. I did not let it go because I've learned that when these things happen, you don't. I sat with it. I gave attention to it. I honored the moment. And I actually began to apply the moment into my life to the point where I actually wrote an entire book on the two sides of me. My shadow self. Because I had a shift in consciousness. I had a shift in my mind that said, listen, I need you to pay attention to this. Because this, what has just been said, is going to mark a moment in your life. It's going to mark it's going to timestamp a moment. So mind shifts, they're timestamps that you can look back on and say, wow, I remember when my mind shifted from that. I remember that moment. Wow, I'm excited about it. And so the next steps that we're going to take, because we've been almost an hour, but our next podcast, I am going to talk to you about shadows. Because we're talking about mind shifts today, but our next episode, the reason I want to talk about shadows, because that is a recent place where I had a mind shift. And when I had this mind shift, I was able to make my shadows applicable to my life. I'm not talking about just, when I was in college, just learning about my, shadows and just learning about the sides of me that, I don't want people to know about, those hidden dark places. But this was something different. Actually, since I've had that mind shift moment, my shadow is my companion. My shadow is who I am. My shadow is a part of me. And to ignore that part of myself means to be incomplete. And so the next step for you is to begin to foster a culture of openness and maximize the potential for mind shifts. Unlock the boundless potential that resides within you. Welcome mind shifts and master them. Stay open, vulnerable, and focused. In our upcoming podcast, as I said, we're going to talk about shadows. Shadows are made of the stuff we perceive to be unacceptable or unpresentable as a part of our self-presentation. It's the side of us that we are afraid to recognize and give light to. So it becomes our shadow selves. The mind creates shadows for anything we intentionally want to hide about ourselves. Hiding who we are creates a duplicate consciousness of ourselves called shadows. This shadow self is us, but we hide in it. And it lives in our unconsciousness, popping up at inopportune moments because we won't deal with it. So next week, I want you to join us for our next podcast, which is going to be Tuesday, May the 7th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And our topic is how shadows are created. Recognizing our inner and outer selves and how they interact with shadows. That's going to be powerful. I've had so much fun with you today, and this has been a very, very enlightening moment for me and for you. And I am being very vulnerable by even doing this podcast. But I want to thank my life coach, Malachi Gross, for his encouragement, for his advice, for his investment in who I am becoming. And I will see you next week, because next week on Thursday, 9:30, I think it's Pacific time or Mountain time. Coach Malachi is in Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma, I believe. And his broadcast is Expanded Consciousness, and it airs on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I've been invited to join the live broadcast as a guest on May 9th at 9:30. I hope you will join us for this life-changing live discussion. And thank you so much. See you later.
Walking through this jungle, feeling very mild and small, and everybody else looks so tall. Wondering if I can survive. Will I be strong enough if I had to fight? It's a battlefield, but it's my life. What is good? What is bad? What is happy? What is sad? It gets confusing like a maze, searching through your own way. But there's a voice inside that talks to me. Sometimes it turns me to a mirror, looks at me and says, look at your reflection, deeper than you've ever. Do you see the lion? You're stronger than you're thinking. Make your own decision. Get out of others' visions. They don't see the lion. Yes, you are a lion. Walking through the city, everybody's laughing, but I stop because I see a grown man crying. His health has been threatened from an act he thought was innocent, and the world keeps on telling him that his life is slowly ending. Whatever happened to faith, trust, prayer? Whatever happened to hope? Don't let the poison take over your soul. Take the strength that you have left, fight your way to your best. Don't let them strip you from your purpose. You're more than worth